Yeah,
Hello.
hi.
Welcome to our fall preview, everyone. Thanks so much for spending some time with the Charlesbridge sales and marketing team this afternoon and joining our conversation. I'm Donna Spurlock, and I'm joined by my colleagues, Jaleesa Burwell and Lindsay Atkins, and Rachel Duty behind the scenes in the chat as we take a look at our fall 2025 list. As we are chatting live today, we'd love to hear from you. Please feel free to drop your thoughts, comments, and questions into the comments section and join the conversation. By engaging in the chat, you are also entering our giveaway for free books. Each section will pose a question at the beginning for you to mull as you listen along. One random winner will be selected at the end of each section. All you have to do is answer the section question in the chat for a chance. If you could be so kind as to make sure that your display name lists both your first and last name, or your first name and your organization, so that we can match winners with our registration list. We'd appreciate it, as well as we'll be following up with you after the webinar today to claim your prize. And a friendly reminder that by pre-registering and joining us live today, you'll also receive a copy of Matali Perkins' The Golden Necklace. We're dropping a link in the chat now for you to let us know where you'd like your copy sent. And one last housekeeping note. For any Massachusetts librarians, teachers, or booksellers joining us today, we are co-hosting a kid-lit event with Nosy Crow on October 7th at Night Shift Brewery at Lovejoy Wharf in Boston. Come join us for an evening of good books and good food. More info can be found at the link in the chat. With that, let's talk some books. Turning it over to you, Jaleesa.
Hello. Built for durability and designed for joy, these board books combine rhythm, rhyme, and sturdy pages to spark a love of reading from the start. This season's new board books are playful, engaging, and perfect. What board book is currently a repeated read for you? I repeat, what board book is currently a repeated read for you? Be sure to answer in the chat. Now for our first book. Meet Wombat. Now in a laugh out loud board book for the littlest readers, from Wombat to Square Bat to Round Bat and Long Bat, no bat is left behind in this silly and sweet marsupial romp. Philip Bunting's playful wordplay and wry illustrations make this book irresistible for babies, toddlers, and grown-ups alike. With quotable lines, hilarious read-aloud potential, and illustrations that channel John Klassen's dry humor, Wombat is a giggle fest perfect for story times, classrooms, and bedtime snuggles. Whether you're a young bat or old bat, you'll be begging for more bats. The Wombat board book also has a cute cutout style of the wombat, perfect for little fingers while remaining for repeated use. Hot Pot hits the right spot. Vincent Chen's beloved picture book is now adapted into an eye-catching hot pot-shaped board book, perfect for the littlest foodies. A Taiwanese-American child gathers neighbors of all backgrounds to cook and share a steaming hot pot meal, celebrating culture, community, and cooperation. With rhythmic chant-along text and vibrant art, Hot Pot is an irresistible read-aloud that babies, toddlers, and their grown-ups will eat right up. Perfect for foodie families and fans of Grace Lynn's Dim Sum for Everyone, this charming board edition is both a striking gift and a joyful reminder that, like Hot Pot itself, we're all better when we come together. From the Whose Is That series comes a fresh new board edition of Whose Footprint Is That, a non-fiction guessing game that babies and toddlers will love. Written by Smithsonian mammalogist Darren Lundy and illustrated by Kelsey Osed, this clever book pairs animal tracks with page-turn predictions. Little learners can follow the footprints of 5 featured animals, including a mountain goat, wallaroo, chimpanzee, flamingo, and snake, and then discover each creature in its own habitat. with accurate yet appealing art, playful text, and interactive reviews. Whose Footprint Is That encourages curiosity and early science learning while keeping the youngest readers engaged. The final spread even invites kids to match human footprints to shoes, adding a fun, relatable twist. Perfect for fans of Whose Footprint Is That and Whose Egg Is That, this new board book format makes an expert backed STEM title accessible for the littlest explorers. Vroom Baby Driver Zoom. Buckle up for baby's busy day on wheels in this speedy new board book by award-winning author Laurie Alexander. From toy cars to strollers to a car-themed bedroom, baby rolls through a familiar daily routine with pit stops for bottles, diaper changes, and bedtime snuggles. Packed with onomatopoeic sound words little listeners will love to repeat. This rhythmic romp is a joyful read aloud that parents will return to again and again. With colorful art, a sing-song text, and plenty of rooms, zooms, and whooshes, Vroom Baby Driver Zoom is the perfect gift for families with babies and toddlers who love things that go. A celebration of everyday adventures on wheels, this fun lyrical ride is sure to drive repeat reads at home, in libraries, and in story time. With that, we end our first section. Last call for the giveaway question. What board book is currently a repeated read for you? Be sure to answer in the chat.
I just love that Wombat book. It's so cute.
Just a little obsessed.
A little obsessed, yeah. Well, hello. Just a tiny bit. So for lesson plan power-ups, if you're a teacher or a librarian looking for great books to build your lessons around, you're in the right place. These picks are engaging, thoughtful, and perfect for sparking conversation and curiosity in your students. So the first giveaway question, what's one book you love using in a lesson or activity that really gets your students excited about reading? Answer in the chat. All right, so before Neil Armstrong took that giant leap, 12 brilliant women were already hard at work making it possible. And Women on a Mission tells their powerful true stories. Written by mechanical engineer and award-winning author Suzanne Slade, this beautifully structured picture book follows the milestones of Apollo 11, spotlighting the diverse women behind each one, like Hazel Fellows, who helped design the astronauts' spacesuits, Phyllis Gaylord, who engineered the lunar module's descent engine, and Katherine Johnson, whose math brought the astronauts safely home. With vibrant retro-style art by Molly Magnow, this is a perfect pick for ages 6 to 9, especially during STEM units, Women's History Month, or anytime you want to inspire future change makers. It's also a perfect companion to books like Counting on Catherine and Hidden Figures, and a timely title as we look ahead to NASA's Artemis mission, which will send a woman around to the moon in 2026. That's awesome. Next up, take your readers straight into the heart of the Amazon with this gripping, photo-packed nonfiction adventure for ages 8 to 12. 3 Weeks in the Rainforest follows a woman-led team of scientists from Chicago's Field Museum as they join local and indigenous experts for a rapid inventory. 3 intense weeks of real fieldwork to document species, connect with communities, and help protect one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. With nearly 29 million acres already conserved thanks to this work, the book is a must-have for STEM, climate, and ecosystem units. It celebrates diverse voices in science, community-driven conservation, and the real-world power of data and collaboration. Now get ready for a time-traveling, planet-hopping, and yes, pancake syrup-dripping adventure through the life of a carbon atom. In From Bam to Burp, award-winning author Melissa Stewart takes a big, complex science concept and turns it into a kid-friendly journey perfect for ages 5 to 8. This book follows a single carbon atom through billions of years, from its explosive start to its ride through volcanoes, coal, eggshells, and even your breakfast burp. This is science meets storytelling in the best possible way, with a blend of earth science, life science, and a touch of gross out humor, quote unquote burp. This book makes an invisible, essential concept feel concrete and exciting. This title is perfect for kids studying the carbon cycle, ecosystems, Earth's history, or the interconnectedness of life. Because once a kid follows the journey of a single carbon atom, they'll never look at the world or their next burp in the same way again. Now, what do fleas and justice have in common? Marian Wright Edelman knew that real change starts by making people uncomfortable, and she was proud to itch for a better world. In this powerful picture book biography for ages 6 to 9, young readers meet the trailblazing lawyer, activist, and founder of the Children's Defense Fund. From challenging segregation as a child to becoming the first Black woman lawyer in Mississippi, Marian never stopped fighting for justice, especially for children in poverty, children of color, and kids with disabilities. Inspired by her childhood hero, Sojourner Truth, Marian embraced the idea of being a, quote, flea for justice, someone so persistent that they must be heard. Perfect for Black History Month, Women's History Month, civil rights units, or any lessons on activism, this book pairs beautifully with I Am Ruby Bridges and Opal Lee and what it means to be free. Now, something I never thought I'd be super excited to learn about, seeds. But man, this book is so cool. Just 800 miles from the North Pole, buried inside a frozen mountain, lies one of Earth's most important treasures, seeds, over 580 million of them. This fascinating nonfiction picture book introduces young readers ages 5 to 8 to the Svalbard Global Seed Vault, a real-life fortress designed to protect the future of our food. Located on an icy island in Norway, this vault stores seeds from around the world. Seeds that could one day replant forests, fields, and gardens if disaster strikes. With vivid writing and clear illustrations, it answers big questions. Why was it built? How are seeds kept safe? And why does it matter? This is a gold mine for STEM, geography, and environmental science units. This book turns seed conservation into an exciting adventure. Think superhero hideout for plants. Alrighty. And so once again, the giveaway question for this section, what's one book you love using in a lesson or activity that gets your students excited about reading? Answer in the chat.
Yeah, I just love Just in Case. I am obsessed with that book.
So good.
All right. Now, next up, these are interesting times we're living in, right? For sure. But we're all finding a way through no matter what the challenge. And these next several titles celebrate these victories. Here's my question for you. What's your favorite picture book about perseverance? First up, the cast of woodland creatures we've come to love in titles like Groundhog's Dilemma and Squirrel Needs a Break are back with Owl's Fall Feast Fiasco. Owl is hosting a fall feast, and Platypus, his favorite didgeridoo musician, is joining. But what do you serve a variety of guests and diets? A conundrum for sure. That isn't just limited to the animal world, but also one many of us have felt for holidays like, I don't know, Thanksgiving. Checking in with his friends on what he should make offers no good insight and just raises more questions. He learns that Groundhog is lactose intolerant, Hare has an allergy to carrots, Sparrow is a vegetarian, and Tortoise prefers to eat the flower centerpiece. What should Owl prepare to both impress his favorite musician and make sure all of his guests are well fed? From the husband and wife team of Kristen Remnar and Matt Faulkner, this funny and relatable seasonal picture book is geared toward parents and educators looking to teach 3 to 7-year-old kids about accepting differences, looking beyond stereotypes, and friendship, but it's also been designed and written to be ready for Thanksgiving opportunities without the word Thanksgiving in the title. Fans of The Big Umbrella will like how Owl learns to be inclusive of all of his anthropomorphic friends as he realizes his friends' likes and dislikes don't match his preconceptions. In the end, Owl makes sure to create a feast that everyone will be able to enjoy no matter who they are. I also think a lot of library patrons and students can relate to the struggle Owl has as he works through his unconscious biases and stereotypes. I appreciate how carefully but relatably Owl shows children how to overcome and grow from their own mistakes. The simple takeaway from this sweet story: we don't always get it right the first time, and mistakes happen, but we can all grow from them, and that they don't have to ruin anything, including a holiday feast. I had the pleasure of meeting our next contributor at a highlights retreat for Indigenous creators in 2023, and I've been not so patiently waiting for the chance to work with her ever since. Jen Mudahi, Charlotte's New Moccasins, offers up an Indigenous intergenerational story that captures a sweet blend of family and culture. Charlotte has outgrown her moccasins, so she and her mom head to Grandma's for new ones. Grandma teaches Charlotte how to make her new mocks step by step, and she learns a valuable skill from her beloved elder in this heartwarming and multi-generational story. Created by two debut Métis creators, this contemporary celebration of Native culture, tradition, and family is a highly relatable story any kid that has ever outgrown their favorite thing to wear. Back matter includes details about moccasins then and now, some additional facts about them, and information about how they have been made over time. And the downloadable activity guide available on our website also offers up a word search, a maze, and a coloring sheet that asks children to create their own beadwork design. Next up, Found You is for every kid who has ever had an anxious moment during play. After all, hide and seek is fun, until it's not. Archie and his friends are playing hide and seek in the house. He finds the best hiding place. But is it too perfect? Will they ever find him? Readers sit next to Archie in this perfect spot as he experiences a wide range of emotions after he's not found in a timely fashion in a particularly good hiding spot. I don't know about you, but this scenario strikes me as every preschooler's worst nightmare. Found You is a relatable, comforting read for kids ages 3 to 7. Its approach to big feelings is modelable without being didactic, and is a perfect storytime read, acknowledging all of the big feelings and questions that kids ponder without dismissing their importance. After all, there's fun and joy and sometimes worry in a great game, and it's even better when everything turns out well in the end. In house favorite, Ana Siqueira, author of La Mala Suerta is Following Me, is back on the Charlesbridge list with Sticky Hermana, releasing simultaneously in English and Spanish, and Ana offers us a fresh and funny look about just how hard it is sometimes to be a cool big sister, especially when your sticky younger sibling just wants to be near you. Claudia is the big sister. Monica is the little sister. Having each other is fun. They do bubblegum peace bubbles where they each blow a bubble and almost touch them together. But sometimes Monica is just way too sticky, wanting to do everything Claudia does. Claudia and Monica have to find a way to be close and to give each other space. I promise an extra dose of giggles will be sure to blow up when readers discover that those bubblegum peace bubbles go awry, bringing an entirely new definition to the word sticky. I personally have a younger sister who I was not a fan of growing up, and I can appreciate the authenticity with which Ana helps the universal message that sibling rivalry is common, and learning how to coexist in an acquired SEL skill that needs a lot of practice. Kids of all ages, regardless of whether they have siblings or not, need to learn about personal space and how to create it when you need it. It also offers up a contemporary story centered on a common theme, told by two Latin creators, which at its core is a fun read-aloud picture book with integrated Spanish vocabulary that's full of humor and heart. This one's perfect for 3 to 7-year-olds with a younger or older sibling. Families looking for stories dealing with sibling relationships, or educators and librarians looking for safe reads about getting along with others and protecting our own personal space. Next up is the latest installment of our Juggernaut Storytelling Math series with Cesar's Cerulean Surprise. Cesar wants to borrow his little sister Gabby's brand new cerulean crayon. She doesn't know what color that is, though, and she won't let him show her. Instead, she asks him yes or no questions to rule out crayons. It's like a game of 20 questions, fun for Gabby, but frustrating for Cesar. Like the rest of the series, Cesar will be released simultaneously in hardcover and in paperback, offering a playful exploration of logic featuring Chicanx Mexican-American characters and Spanish color words. It's penned by the delightful and talented Jenny Lasica, who won the Mathical Award for her storytelling math book, Again, Essie. And a fun design twist, the end papers of this one, instead of being the same purple sported by the rest of the series, will indeed be cerulean blue. Storytelling Math celebrates children using math in their daily adventures as they play, build, and discover the world around them. Joyful stories and hands-on activities make it easy for kids and their grown-ups to explore everyday math together. Developed in collaboration with math experts at STEM Education through the nonprofit Turk. The series as a whole continues to prove perfect for kids and their grown-ups to start talking math and as go-to reads for engaging stories that happen to teach you something with each page turn. And as a reminder, put your favorite picture books about perseverance in the comments section.
That's awesome. That sticky harmonic cover with that gum, I have experienced that one too many times, but with a brother. So that's great.
I know. Can you guess what's going to happen in that picture?
Just a little bit. So I am going to help Jaleesa out here. I am going to do the Read Aloud Gem section. So our giveaway question for this section: can you name a book that will be that surprised you by how well it worked as a read aloud? So with playful language and illustrations that spark curiosity, these books make reading an interactive and joyful experience. From heartfelt celebrations of identity to spooky fun ocean adventures, this season's gems will have kids giggling, gasping, and asking to hear them again and again. So write your giveaway answer in the chat. Now for our first read aloud gem, Black Hair Can is a boldly illustrated nonfiction picture book that celebrates the history, pride, and power of Black hair. From the crowns of African kings and queens to modern styles in the United States, debut author-illustrator Sylvia Rodriguez, a Black and Latina graduate from the prestigious Rhode Island School of Design, explores how hair has always been central to identity, expression, and resilience. Perfect for readers 4 to 8, the book highlights styles like afros, cornrows, and Fulani braids, while also acknowledging how hair was used as a tool of oppression during slavery and later became a symbol of empowerment. Back matter includes a hair pattern chart, braid and twist styles, and fun how-to instructions, making this both an engaging read and an educational resource. Inspiring pride and self-expression, Black Hair Can is ideal for Black History Month and a powerful celebration of heritage all year long. Now, from the creator of Wombat comes a brand new picture book that is equal parts spooky, silly, and sweet.
Love it.
Yeah, I love Drop Bear. Up there, gray hair, grin stare, beware, Drop Bear. Or so the woodland creatures say. Kangaroo, possum, quoll, and more whisper scary stories about the meanie and the gum tree. But when one brave little bird decides to see for itself, the truth turns out to be quite different and much more heartwarming. With Philip Bunting's signature wry humor, rhythmic rhyme, and playful animal characters, Drop Bear is a perfect read aloud for ages 2 to 5. It's a story about rumors, assumptions, and giving others the benefit of the doubt, all wrapped up in a giggling, inducing rhyme that kids will want to hear again and again. Pair Drop Bear with the new board book edition of Wombat for a hilarious duo. One, a silly marsupial love story. The other, a heartfelt reminder that sometimes the scariest creatures just need a friend. And for those of you who love that Drop Bear on the cover, we have a cutout mask on our website that you can download and cut out yourself, which is very cute.
Perfect for Halloween.
Exactly.
For every day.
My Halloween costumes figured out already. So from Korean author Suki Cho comes You Are a Burst of Color, a lyrical picture book that explores the rainbow of emotions throughout a child's day. From curious green to disappointed blue to cozy brown, feelings shift moment by moment, reminding young readers that all emotions are natural and important. A hopeful message at the end reassures children that every feeling matters and makes them who they are. Perfect for ages 2 to 5, this companion to You Are a Little Seed pairs soothing, rhythmic text with Choi's gorgeous, expressive illustrations. Gentle and highly giftable, it supports social emotional learning by helping children name, accept, and embrace their emotions. An ideal choice for bedtime or classroom read-alouds, You Are a Burst of Color offers comfort, beauty, and the reminder that every feeling deserves recognition and care. Welcome to Whalebone Mansion, people. This is a playful, spooktastic, nonfiction graphic picture book. I'm going to say that 5 times fast for ages 3 to 7. When two curious fish stumble upon a haunted-looking house on the ocean floor, they wonder, are there ghosts inside? Vampires, monsters. What they find instead is a real whale fall. The eerie skeleton of a whale that has become home to some of the strangest creatures in the deep sea. From hagfish and vampire squid to anglerfish and bone-eating snot flowers. That's a real thing. Kids will meet creepy but cool residents while learning fascinating facts in sidebars. With its mix of graphic style storytelling, spooky questions, and bite-sized science, this book sneaks in ocean knowledge while keeping readers hooked. Back matter includes more about whale falls, the deep sea, and even a QR code for kids to see a real whale fall in action. And that wraps up this section. This is the last call for the giveaway question. Can you name a book that surprised you by how well it worked as a read aloud? Awesome. So cool. Some of those books are just so fascinating.
I know. Whalebone Mansion is beautiful too. The art is gorgeous.
Cool. Yeah. So our next section is for early readers. These titles are perfect for helping kids build confidence, develop foundational skills, and fall in love with reading from the very beginning. Now the question, what chapter book or middle grade novel do you think would be great in verse? Answer in the chat for a chance to win. All right. So, as a girl who grew up with only brothers around her, I found kinship with our next character. Meet 9-year-old Beth, a truth teller with big feelings and 5 loud brothers. In this laugh out loud illustrated chapter book for ages 6 to 9, Beth navigates sibling chaos, spaghetti dinners, and her stepdad's booming voice with wit and heart. Debut author Beth York draws from her own childhood in this heartwarming and hilarious collection of 10 short episodic stories. Perfect for fans of Clementine, this book hits the sweet spot between chapter book and early middle grade. It offers short chapters and energetic illustrations to keep emerging readers turning those pages. It's especially ideal for reluctant readers, with humor and heart in every bite-sized chapter. I just love that. Now, Lights Up on Limelight, a genre-busting, graphic novel in verse that brings the drama and comedy, of course, of a middle school musical to life through the voices of the script, spotlight, piano, and more. Told in 3 acts, Limelight follows the hilarious highs and nerve-wracking lows of a middle school musical, from auditions to opening night, with vibrant comic panels and a pitch-perfect poems. This backstage pass is ideal for reluctant readers, young performers, and anyone who loves theater and creative storytelling. Perfect for fans of theater camp, Better Nate Than Ever, or Drama by Raina Telgemeier. Limelight celebrates theater and creativity and offers a format that's incredibly inviting for reluctant readers or kids who thrive on visual storytelling. This is a love letter to theater and a standing ovation for every kid who's ever found their place on the stage or behind the curtain. I love these illustrations.
I love it. And as a former theater kid, this one so appeals to me.
So very much. Now, before I introduce our last title and our very special guest, I want to throw out the giveaway question once again. What chapter book or middle grade novel do you think would be great in verse? Now, you can answer in the comments and maybe get a chance to win these great books. So now I have such an incredibly special guest with us today, and I am so honored to introduce National Book Award nominee Matali Perkins and her masterful new chapter book, The Golden Necklace. We will also be taking questions in the chat for Matali, so please feel free to drop your questions while we're talking. Hi, Matali.
Hi, Matali.
Hi, friends. Oh, it's so nice to see you guys. Hey, hi, everybody here. Yeah, keep going. I'm gonna, don't get me choked up on this introduction, please.
Oh, don't you worry. I'll do my best. Yeah. So, set on a tea plantation in Darjeeling, this heartfelt mystery stars 12-year-old Sona, a fearless Nepali girl determined to clear her brother's name when her best friend's gold jewelry goes missing. Sona must think fast, act smart, and bravely speak up, despite the political tensions and social divides that shape her world. With rich cultural context, high stakes, and themes of justice, class, and courage, this accessible chapter book, ages 7 to 10, is more than a mystery. It's a window into a complex world told with warmth and compassion. And with that, I hand it over to our wonderful special guest. Welcome, Matali.
Thank you, friends. I see so many friends here. I've been around so long now. It's fun to see familiar faces. So thanks you all for coming. And thank you to Charlesbridge for just being such a champion of my work. Well, we're all in this together, right? I always think of that, was that Disney musical, that song, We're All in This Together, because we really are. And we're all about enlarging the hearts and minds of kids, teachers, librarians, writers, storytellers, publishers, editors. We just really believe that stories can change the world. That's why we're in this mission, right? We believe there's something magical about stories. Nonfiction has its part, don't get me wrong. But when I first came to the United States, I was 7 years old, and we immigrated here from India. And I was miraculously led to the public library, and I found my way into the stacks, and my sister let go of my hand, and I became a feral reader, just a wild reader. And so I look back at those lovely years where I just read and read and read, and I call myself a multi-storied reader. That's what I was, because there was no single story that defined me. And so by the time I got to middle school, which was when I needed it, I knew that I was in charge of my story and that all those stories I read were about heroes, and I too was a hero. There's something about stories that leaves more room for the reader, right? More room for the student to figure out where to find their windows and their mirrors. And it's always surprising when a student finds a certain kind of a mirror or a window, right? Sometimes, and that's the mystery of it. So I get letters from all over the world. I've written 4 books now with Charlesbridge that are set in far, far away places. They have no Western characters. In fact, my first one, Rickshaw Girl, was soundly, roundly rejected by many publishers because I wouldn't put a bridge character in, a bridge character being a Western kid that would lead us into that faraway culture so that the reader could see themselves mirrored culturally. Of course, Charlesbridge was like, "Bosh," and I was like, "Bosh, kids don't need that. They can imagine themselves in characters far better than adults do." And so, Rickshaw Girl didn't have a bridge character, and yet I get letters from all over the place, dairy farms in, Idaho, where kids say, "Oh, Naima is just like me, and, she's my friend." And that's my hope, right? That hope that as you, you throw open a window to a faraway world, you can the children that we lead into that world will see themselves reflected and in the main character and in the other characters. So here comes Sona. It's my fourth, as I said. Rickshaw Girl set in Bangladesh around themes of microcredit and girls getting empowered. Tiger Boy set in West Bengal, the themes about stewardship of the ecology and conservation. Bamboo People set in Burma about forced conscription of soldiers and refugees. And then now we're back in India again in West Bengal, this time with a girl who's growing up in as a Nepali speaker in my state, West Bengal, not too far from where I was born in Kolkata, India. So we're back to the issue of girls again to some extent. Now I read a lot of these books, and you, the educators, can introduce them with a window introduction, if you'd like. Here's a window into what it's like to live in Darjeeling. Here's a window what it's like to speak a language when everybody around you is speaking Bengali, but you're speaking Nepali, and the Bengali people look down on you because you're a minority. So you could approach it that way, which is a beautiful way to introduce a book. But you can also approach it in a more of a mirror way, which I think for grades, this is ages 7 to 10, you can see. And so for 7 to 10, oh my goodness, hearts are wide open at that time, right? To see themselves reflected. It's like when you teach them a language at this age, 7 to 10, they learn it so fast, their accents change. Well, it's the same with stories. They can use their imagination to see themselves reflected in the character, no matter how far away it is, no matter what political context it is. And being me and caring so much about, I think because of the books I read when I was growing up, I do care a lot about justice. And so I'll always explore some nuance of justice, something that isn't quite right or wrong, but leaving the child room to say, what would I do in that situation? It's more of a nuance around an ethical question. So you can there's a wonderful reader's guide that Charlesbridge created that you can use, and also a glossary that I put together that's on my website for some of the foreign words, because there are 3 languages, more than 3, that are spoken in Darjeeling. There's Nepali, which is Sona's um, mother tongue, Bengali, which is my mother tongue, the language of the oppressors in this case, and Lepcha, Tibetan. So there's another friend, Jampa, who speaks Tibetan. So there's lots of different words in there. And when you write a book that's set like that, it's a triple challenge, right? You're trying to create a story and a character that the kids will love and root for, a mystery that's engaging, that will be a page turner. But you also have to be constrained by what's happening in that contemporary setting, the justice issues, and the just all of the different in Darjeeling, there's no water except for rich tourists, mostly rich Bengali tourists who come into the fancy hotels, and then the water abounds there. But most of the people who are living there have to go and really worry about their water supply. So the book looks at that, but it's a story, right? So I thought I'd read you a little section here that I've done since I wrote Rickshaw Girl. I've done a lot of work in my craft about story structure. So character comes easy for me. I don't know. I love my characters, and they come into my mind like fully alive, and I just know them. I have to and then place. I love place because I was such a new kid all the time. I moved so much. Place is really important to me. So I enter into a place with all 5 of my senses, and I love creating a rich sense of place. It's just a joy. And then there's, of course, the political historical setting, which is mostly left brain work, which helps since I studied political science and all development and all that stuff. But then you have to weave a story, right? The story structure. And so when I wrote Rickshaw Girl, story structure was in my very, I don't know, sort of like under the waterline of my creative work because I read so much. But since then, I've studied a lot. I've taught about story structure. I've read Save the Cat Writes a Novel. I've looked at screenplays. If any of you want to introduce your students to storytelling structure, Khan Academy has all of the Pixar videos there. Storytelling in a Box, that just reviews what a good story, a universal good story, the components of it. And in that Storytelling in a Box, they start out with all the Pixar movies, every day Nemo was swimming with his father, who was very scared every day, that everyday situation. And that's what Golden Necklace starts off with. The everyday life of Sona. Every day she'd gather water at the well. Every day she worried about her brother. Would they make the loan payments? Would her mother lose her tea plucking job? She has no father. Her father died. So every day there was a lot of worry and anxiety in her life, but also the beauty around her of the Himalayan mountains, her friendships, and her indomitable courage. She is a character of courage, and she's also a character that knows how to be a friend. Her name means gold. Sona means gold. My sister's name is Shonali, and her father, long gone father, tells her that a daughter who's faithful is more precious than gold. And so there's a play on words there because the golden necklace is the mystery. She has to find it. So anyway, that's how it starts. Every day, Sona was doing this and that, and then what changes? The catalyst scene, right? Until one day. That's what Pixar storytellers are all about. Until one day, what changes? So I thought I'd read you the catalyst scene here. Just a little snippet of it so you can see what changes for her and how she gets started on her quest to find the missing gold. So here we go. Sona! A sweet, lilting voice called down from a balcony above. Carefully, Sona put down the doko and water pots. She tilted her face back and searched through the leaves until she glimpsed her friend's long braid and round cheeks leaning over the balcony rail. Tara, I'm here, she said. Oh, my crazy parrot is out again. He's in the tree, and you're the only other person he doesn't attack. Nobody's around. Don't worry. Kutu sat on his haunches as if he knew what was coming next. Stay, Sona commanded, and the dog wagged his tail in acknowledgement. Thank goodness the balcony was somewhere hidden. If she were caught up there, her whole family would be in even more trouble. Sona tied the ends of her knee-length camise around her waist and kicked off her chappals. Gripping the branches of the big oak tree, and here's a beautiful illustration from my Thili, who did amazing work, and finding toeholds for her bare feet, she levered her body upward while her friend watched from above. Theirs was an unlikely friendship. Tara was Bengali, 6 years older than Sona and the niece of Amma's employer. But a year ago, after she'd moved in with her uncle, her parrot Tutu had escaped, and Tara had called down to Sona for help. On that day, too, Sona had scrambled up the branches of the oak tree and transported the parrot safely to the balcony. Tara seemed so lonely up there, trapped inside her uncle's house day and night, that stopping for a bit of conversation and laughter was now part of Sona's morning and afternoon routine. Moving upward from branch to branch, she hunted for Tutu. The bird was hard to spot because his blue-green feathers blended into the sun-dappled leaves. Sona searched through the tangle of leaves and branches until she spotted his pinkish beak. Bondu! He squawked, keeping one red-rimmed eye fixed on her. He always greeted her with the word for friend, in Bangla and in Nepali. The word for gold was the same in both languages too, Shona, the name her parents had given her. I, she cooed, using the Bangla word for come. She tried teaching him words in Nepali, but he ignored her mother tongue unless they overlapped into Bangla. You're lucky I'm good at languages, mister. I only squawk in Bangla, she muttered, staying still as he hopped along the branch toward her. Then, in a sudden movement, he half flew and half leaped until his clawed toes were clutching her shoulder. Dhora tutu, Sona said, and he obeyed, holding on as she climbed along a big branch that reached the balcony. As soon as Sona's bare feet dropped to the tiles, the bird leaped onto Tara's outstretched hand. As her friend kissed the parrot's ringed neck, Sona caught sight of tears glistening on Tara's cheeks. Are, Taradi, why are you crying? Okay, that's the end of chapter 3, which is my catalyst scene. And So I don't know. Look at Lindsay. Well, it's so fun. You guys are the first ones I've ever read this book aloud to. I've never read it aloud to anyone. So it's launching October 7th. So thank you for letting me read that section. Yeah. So it turns out. So it turns out Tara has a dowry that her parents gave her, and her parents. She's now living with her uncle, who's really a bad guy, and the gold, her gold, in the couple of chapters later, will go missing, and the problem is that Sona's beloved brother, Shamiran, is going to be suspected. And so Sona has to find the gold before anyone else does so she can clear her brother's name. And I love that the reviewers are calling it a page turner. You guys, I worked so hard on plot. I mean, I'm good at character, I'm good at place, good at people, but sometimes my people can sit around and just sip tea and chat with each other for a long time. So plot is what I've worked on in my craft. And so to hear it be called, I see in the chat, a cliffhanger, I really worked hard on plot. And Yolanda Scott, my editor, really, she's great. She's a theater person too. So we worked really hard together on that. Anyway, she has to find the gold. Her brother, and just give you a personal detail, and then I'll take questions from you guys. So you could, well, just before I do that, you could see how you could introduce it like a window into this faraway culture and all the complexities of the language and the political situation. Don't worry about all that. Kids are better at you than crossing borders. They will read the story and they will learn. I worked really hard on incorporating the language, the terms, the culture into the story. It's something that is a real part of craft. I've worked so hard on that in the 20 years that I've been writing. Getting better at it. It's good to see yourself getting better at something, right? After doing something for so long and making so many mistakes, I am getting better. So your students will go with this character and they will learn as they go. Hopefully there is that glossary, etc. But don't worry about things that seem unfamiliar to you, because the main point is they'll be enmeshed in the story, we hope, and they'll learn painlessly. That's what good story does, right? You learn history and culture and politics in the back of your brain as you're engaged in the story. So if they have questions, don't worry about it. If there's things that are unfamiliar, I'll tell you, a 7 to 10-year-old is going to be a lot better at it than we grown-ups. We're just really stuck when it comes to crossing borders and learning languages. I tell kids, you have a superpower we don't have. So your kids have that superpower as they read the story. But I would encourage you maybe to introduce the story more as a mirror. Themes of friendship. What would you do if one of your brothers or sisters was suspected of a crime? What would you do if your best friend was crying because she was in big trouble? Would you want to help her? You see how that's more of a mirror approach, and I think kids will really engage with Sona if you, the educators, can approach it in both ways. So Samiran, her big brother, and this is I've always wanted to use that name in a book. And that's because I had a brother named Samiran who died before I was born. He was the eldest of our family, the only boy. 3 girls came after. I was the 3rd girl. Everyone cried when I was born because I was a girl. Oh, that's the therapy question, so we won't go into that. but so yeah, a lot of my stories explore those kind of themes of girlhood and that culture. But Samiran, I didn't even know his name. No, my parents wouldn't even speak about him because they were so brutalized by his early death, right? He died when he was about a year old. And so they never talked about him. And so it was a big family secret that really affected all of us. But right before Dad died in 2017, he was opening his heart to me and opening his mind to me. And so it was a beautiful season. If any of you have elderly parents, it's a tough season, but it's can be so beautiful when you just sit down with them and there's an openness for them to share their stories. So Dad talked to me about his son, his firstborn son, and he had never said his name. So I said, Dad, what was his name? And Dad said his name was Samiran. Oh, Lindsay, your face is so kind.
You're just such an amazing read aloud, like magical, person to listen to read aloud, because you just.
I do love reading aloud. Oh yeah, thank you. It's our boys today. It's our boys' birthday. They're twins, and I look back on parenting. They're growing up now, and I think I did everything wrong, but I read aloud to them. I did that right, so I became an expert. I'm waiting for grandchildren so I can read aloud to them. But
from my
Oh
mouth
my
to God's
goodness.
ear. But anyway, Summerrod, Summerrod's the name of the book, and his name means a gentle breeze. So, if you read the book, you can know that that character is named after the brother that I never got to know, but really did shape our family life. So, all right. So I can take questions now if you guys have a little time for that.
That's amazing. Yeah, absolutely. We've got a couple questions in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
So, first one I've got is from Elizabeth Walters. She says, how disheartening was it to have publishers tell you kids wouldn't relate to a book with no, quote, bridge characters? How do you find the courage and energy to keep trying?
Well, yeah, it was really, really difficult. And it was because I knew that I had crossed borders so fluidly as a child. I knew this magic about children being able to, and I didn't want to be paternalistic in my stories with them. I really try hard to be nuanced. I really don't like to tell children how to think or so I like to leave a lot of room respecting my child reader, as I know you good educators do with your students. The heavy-handed adult really has no room in a story. So I didn't want to change that. And people would say, I will publish it if we'll change it. Well, listen, that book had been rejected so many, many times. And my second book, though, was really rejected. I think it was 22 publishers, Monsoon Summer. It came out 12 years after my first book. How did I not give up when the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again? I think it's because I really believe in stories. I loved them and I love creating them. And so I was at an ALA signing and I was sitting between two really famous authors. And, I thought, oh, I'm here. I've arrived. It was in Boston. And the doors opened, all the librarians came in and no one came to me. All the lines were like, ah. So I was working on Rickshaw Girl at the time and I pulled it out. And I'd gotten so many rejections. I need a bridge character. And so I pulled it out of my bag. I was so disheartened. I just thought, what am I doing? It's just, this is not a world for me. But I got my workout and I began working and I started reconnected with my character on the flow and it's just enmeshed. I forgot that I was in publicly being humiliated in this setting of long. And then I looked up and there was this redheaded woman there and she said, hi, I'm Judy O'Malley from Charlesbridge. And I read Monsoon Summer and I'd like to introduce myself. And she says, what are you working on? And so I pitched Rickshaw Girl. And you guys, I'm bad at pitching, but somehow Judy got the gist of it. And she said, I'd really love to see that. And yeah, I'm really interested in that. And never once did I get from Charlesbridge the suggestion of putting in a bridge character. Never once. It was all about the character and the story and the place. And so Charlesbridge has ridden this bucking bronco with me since that time. And the book came out from Charlesbridge, Rickshaw Girl. And so that's how I don't give up. There was little bits of encouragement that came my way right when I needed it from the right people. So thanks to Charlesbridge.
Oh, thanks to you for writing such an incredible and just a story that serves to this day just as a beautiful beautiful story about a really strong girl. So, and you are lovely at creating strong women characters. So thank you. So we have a next question. How do the books you read growing up help you find your voice? And did you struggle finding characters that made you feel represented then?
Absolutely. I think I did, especially when it comes to that ethnic or cultural representation. But what I did have was a strong family home that was so deeply rooted in our culture of origin. I'm 100% Bengali. My parents grew up in the Bengali villages. We spoke Bengali at home. It was a traditional Bengali home for all of there's hard things about that, but there's beautiful things about that. I was so richly grounded in my cultural tradition that stories were the place that I wanted to travel far and wide. And that's where I acquired the skill of just that fluid reading and imagining myself in other lives. That's what the root of empathy is. So, and the root of compassion is being able to imagine another person's life. And so yeah, I think unless a child is reading exactly a book about themselves, which is impossible, unless they're reading their own memoir, they're going to have to cross some border in a story, and that's the space where empathy can grow. So yes, I wished that there had been, and I love the letters I get from Bengali girls, Nepali girls. Even now, I'm looking forward to seeing with a little trepidation because I'm not Nepali speaking, how Nepali speakers will respond to the story, but tried to do my due diligence. We had lots of research and lots of people speaking into the book. Yeah, I love it when they see themselves reflected. It's a huge privilege. but it's also a chance to offer a window for other readers too, which enables them to learn how to cross borders well at a young age.
You are just magnificent, Mitali. I can't. Meeting you for the first time a couple months ago was like, I remember all of us afterwards coming together and just being like, oh my God, she was amazing. She was just so incredible. Like
this is what I needed today. It's my boy. I only have boys, and boys do not come up to you and say, "Oh, Mama, you are magnificent." So I needed this today. My Charlesbridge friends are going to gush on me. I love it.
Listen, I will do that whenever you need. So we have another question from Matthew. My favorites of your books are The Bare Tree and The Little Wind and Holy Night and Little Star. Are you working on any more books in the spiritual vein?
Oh, Matthew, thank you for bringing that up. Those are my Christmas and Easter books that I wrote, picture books. You know, it's a funny question, the spiritual vein, right? So I would hope my faith is like, I love that quote from Catherine Patterson that talks about those of us who care about a hurting world and have a faith should put that faith into the bones of our stories, not necessarily on the top like fancy dress. And I really strive to put my love of God and neighbor into everything I write, and also the virtues. And this book is about courage and about hope and about love. You know, those beautiful virtues that are such a part of a lot of different traditions, especially a lot of different faith traditions. But yeah, so I would say that the spiritual vein, you know, this vein, I have really bad veins. Phlebotomists cry over my veins. So, but hopefully that spiritual vein runs deep in every one of my stories, whether they've got an outrightly sort of, it's the Easter story, Christmas story. So Matthew, I guess all my stories hopefully have a spiritual vein in them deep inside, like gold. But yeah, I do have a book coming out based on the Beatitudes in 2026 called Do Something New, and it's about praying through the Beatitudes. So
that's such a beautiful way of looking at it, putting it in the bones of the story. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's amazing.
Well, again, you don't want to be heavy-handed, right? You want to leave kids of all traditions and all cultures to have access to your story. You don't want a grown-up in there saying,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Mitali, thank you so much. We cannot wait for the release of The Golden Necklace, which everybody comes out October 7th. Thank you so much for joining us today. And
yes.
Yeah. And any last words?
Just thank you to you educators. I mean, we really couldn't do this without you guys. I see so many names here, so much beautiful partnership. Again, I'll just end as I began, which is we all care about the same things, those lovely young readers, and creating that empathy and that delight so that 30, 40 years from now, we'll have a better culture and community around us maybe than we do now. But I so appreciate your work.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. We are so thrilled that everyone was able to join us for the preview of the Fall 2025 Charlesbridge list. Thank you so much for participating in the chat and giveaways. We will be providing a recording after this event. If you are a giveaway winner and haven't heard from us in 24 hours, please email us at trademarketing@charlesbridge.com. As a reminder for any Massachusetts librarians, teachers, or booksellers, we will be co-hosting a Kidlit event with Nosy Crow on October 7th at Night Shift Brewery at Lovejoy Wharf in Boston. Come join us for an evening of good books, good food. More info can be found at the link in the chat. As always, we'd welcome your thoughts and we would love to hear from you. Feel free to find us on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook, or drop us a line at charlesbridge.com. Thanks, everybody.